నేవీ డే వేడుకలను పూరిలో నిర్వహిస్తున్నట్లు తూర్పు నావికాదళ అధిపతి రాజేష్ పెంతార్కర్ తెలిపారు. ఏడాది డిసెంబర్ 4న చేపట్టనున్న నేవీ డే సందర్భంగా ఆయన దేశ ప్రజలకు శుభాకాంక్షలు తెలిపారు. విశాఖలో ఆయన మీడియాతో మాట్లాడుతూ
ఈ వేడుకలకు రాష్ట్రపతి ముర్ము ముఖ్య అతిథిగా హాజరు కానున్నారని చెప్పారు. జనవరి 4న విశాఖలో నేవీ విన్యాసాలు ఉంటాయని స్పష్టం చేశారు. ఈ విన్యాసాలకు సీఎం చంద్రబాబు ముఖ్య అతిథిగా హాజరవుతున్నారన్నారు. విపత్తుల సమయంలో తూర్పు నావికాదళ ఎన్నో సేవలు అందిస్తూ వస్తోందని, విశాఖలో మిలాన్ నిర్వహించగా గత అక్టోబర్లో మలబార్ విన్యాసాలను కూడా నిర్వహించామని తెలిపారు. అదేవిధంగా 75% యుద్ధ నౌకలు సబర్మన్ దేశీయంగానే నిర్మిస్తున్నామన్నారు. విశాఖ ప్రజల కోసం అనేక మార్లు బ్లడ్ బ్యాంకులు, వైద్య శిబిరాలు నిర్వహించినట్టు చెప్పారు. ఐఎన్ఎస్ విక్రాంత్ నౌకకు పెద్ద జెట్టి అవసరం ఉంటుందని, అందుకోసం విశాఖ పోర్టుతో చర్చిస్తున్నామన్నారు. తీర ప్రాంత భద్రత విషయంలో పూర్తి అప్రమత్తంగానే ఉన్నామన్నారు. తీర ప్రాంత రక్షణ కోసం రాష్ట్రంలోని వివిధ ప్రభుత్వ సంస్థలతో కలిసి పనిచేస్తున్నామని పంతార్కర్ తెలిపారు. 1200 కోట్లతో వివిధ ప్రాజెక్టులు చేపట్టామన్నారు. భారత రక్షణ రంగంలో అత్యవసర సమయాల్లో విపత్తులను ఎదుర్కొనేందుకు ఇండియన్ నేవీ సర్వీస్ ఎప్పుడూ రక్షణ కవచంగా ఉంటుందని పంతార్కర్ భరోసా ఇచ్చారు.
It's a pleasure to welcome you all on this annual Navy Day press conference. And at the outset, I would like to extend my warmest greetings to each one of you on this occasion. The Navy Day is celebrated with great pride by all of us in the Indian Navy, and we are glad to share our celebrations with the people of India all across the world. This is also the day that we solemnly remember the sacrifices of our martyrs who laid down their lives in service of our nation. They remain in our hearts and motivate us to do our duty selflessly. This day is also an opportunity for us to inform our citizens of the major activities undertaken by the Indian Navy over the past year. Therefore, in the next 20 minutes or so, I will provide you a brief on what the East Naval Command has been doing since the last Navy Day and why we are doing it. First and foremost, it must be understood that the waters that engulf India are important to India's security and future economic growth. India's coastal regions house around 25% of India's population. Fisheries and aquaculture contribute to about 7% of the country's total food production. And India's fish catch has seen an increase by over 30% in the last 5 years. We have oil exploration areas off both our coastlines that are critical to our energy needs. Most importantly, 90% of our trade by volume and over 70% of our energy needs pass through the Indian Ocean. There can be no doubt that we in India are dependent upon the oceans, and therefore, for all practical purposes, India must be seen as a large island state, albeit with some land borders. We are witnessing rapid infrastructure development along the coast under the Sagarmala project. In the last 10 years, there has been capacity augmentation by over 65% across all major ports, leading to an impressive 87% rise in the cargo handling capacity. As India grows, these numbers will only increase. Further, as our resources on land deplete, the blue economy component that aims to sustainably harness the offshore resources will gain prominence. From a slightly different perspective, India's geostrategic position in the Indian Ocean puts us at the convergence of the world's most dynamic economies along the Indo-Pacific and the African continents. The Indo-Pacific region is home to 65% of the world's population, generates 62% of the world's GDP, and accounts for close to 60% of the global trade. 9 of the 10 busiest ports and 7 of the top 10 export destinations of the world are in the Indo-Pacific. Considering all these factors, keeping the waters of the Indian Ocean free, open, and safe for economic activity is a national priority. And the Indian Navy, as a manifestation of the country's maritime military power, has the onerous responsibility of maintaining stability in the region and safeguarding these waters that, above all, are critical to India's security and economic prosperity. Since its inception as a small outpost in 1968, the Eastern Naval Command has indeed come a long way and has progressively grown with bases now distributed along the coast. adequately covering the coastline that stretches 2,562 kilometers. The Eastern Naval Command's area of responsibility extends from the east coast of India to the Western Pacific and up to the edge of the Southern Indian Ocean. In the past year, the command has utilized its assets in all three dimensions to safeguard sea lanes, ensure uninterrupted trade, provide coastal defense, and monitor all maritime activities of interest in the region. Our assets, that is our ships, submarines, and aircraft, are mission deployed to show presence in strategic areas extending up to the Western Pacific, particularly in the vicinity of eastern choke points of the Indian Ocean region, which are the Malacca Strait, Sunda Strait, Lombok Strait, and the Ombai-Vetar Straits. In doing so, they develop comprehensive situational awareness in these areas and monitor extra-regional forces operating in the region. They also demonstrate Indian Navy's reach and sustenance capabilities in our areas of interest and serve to deter inimical interests from threatening our sea lines of communication. Most importantly, being pre-positioned in forward locations, our units are able to respond faster to any developing situation. To ensure all this, all assets of the Eastern Naval Command are maintained at the highest degree of combat readiness. Major exercises such as the Theatre Level Operational Readiness Exercise or TROPEX, Exercise Tayar, and amphibious exercises are regularly conducted to validate our preparedness and to hone our warfighting skills. Exercise Purvi Leher, conducted in March 24, was aimed at comprehensive validation of procedures and assessment of the Eastern Naval Command's combat preparedness. Towards accurate delivery of ordnance on target, our ships, submarines, and aircraft have conducted various weapon firing drills and successful gun, missile, and torpedo firings in the Bay of Bengal. Concerted efforts have been put in to enhance combat worthiness of all our platforms through efficient maintenance, weapon and sensor exploitation, and sustained crew workup. In performance of its mandated tasks, the Indian Navy draws inspiration and guidance from the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of Sagar, or security and growth for all in the region, and the Indian Navy's maritime military security strategy. In the past year, to safeguard our maritime interests that were being threatened by a resurge of piracy and general instability in the Gulf of Aden and off the east coast of Africa, 3 ships of the Eastern Naval Command were deployed in the Arabian Sea to augment overall naval efforts. Sumitra and Sumedha, along with the Marine Commandos, played a stellar role in securing the release of 59 personnel from hijacked vessels and apprehension of more than 20 Somali pirates. Aina Shivalik was involved in a real-time combat situation wherein the ship provided anti-missile defense cover to merchant vessels being attacked by Houthi rebels. The ship also provided protection to vessels carrying critical cargo for India, rendered humanitarian aid to an Iranian fishing vessel, and apprehended a vessel involved in smuggling contraband. Such timely and proactive measures to emergent maritime threats demonstrate our emphatic commitment and capability to maintain a free, open, and safe maritime space, thus contributing to Sagar. It is also enabled to portray India as a preferred and credible security partner in the region. Closer home, we continue to maintain a robust coastal security posture. Several exercises and operations were conducted in coordination with the Coast Guard, state government, and central agencies over the past year. Exercise Sea Vigil, which is a nationwide coastal security exercise, was conducted last month and provided a comprehensive review of the preparedness of all agencies to deal with likely contingencies.